Kade Anderson, Ryan Sloan, Laz Montez, and just a bunch of others. Let's talk about some cool stuff that's happening for the Seattle Mariners.
Baseball stuff!
Welcome back to Up West Sports. We got some pretty cool stuff to talk about. I think we're all fired up to talk about. If you're a Mariners fan, like even just a little bit, and you just paid attention for half a second, you probably know what happened this weekend, and we're really excited to talk about it. But first, I wanted to kick it over to Chad. We do have some updates with some stuff that's going around with the team. Chad,
Just your typical spring training, middle of spring training roster moves, but yeah, I think it's our first wave of minor leaguers moving. So you saw 3 catchers move today: Josh Caron, Connor Charping, and Luke Stevenson headed down to the minor league camp. So they're not going far; they're just going across the parking lot. But yeah, the locker room's shrinking a little bit, even with guys going off to the WBC, and then some injury updates too. Obviously, we saw the news of Miller. You don't like seeing Miller running with something, but they gave him a PRP shot. It was totally just, I mean, I think it was Angie Mentink that reported it initially. No, it was Shannon Dreyer that reported it initially. He said, don't worry about it. It's just precautionary. So I think that's just something we're running into. I know there were some initial reports, and I'd say TBD. Yeah, I'd say when you've seen that before. And then also JP Crawford being able to take some live BP. So that's nice to see as well.
Yes, and we're moving in the right direction. Here's kind of, I guess, a little bit of a good news. We have a day off tomorrow, and then we're back at it Tuesday against the Angels. But first, down here in Arizona where I live, I don't get the delicacy of the Northwest all that often. So I want to give a shout out to the Elysian Brewing. We got Juiced Us, Juicy IPA. If you haven't had it, what are you doing? Make sure to have some. Damn, it's delicious. It's so good. It makes me want to go back to Seattle and watch a World Series happen. But we got some bigger stuff to talk about. We got to see Ryan Sloan and Kade Anderson throw today. I wanted to kick it off with Emily. Emily, what are your thoughts? Did you happen to, I know you were listening to it on the radio. Did you happen to come back and watch the outing a little bit?
I didn't get a chance to come back and watch it, but I'd listened through his that whole inning that he was in, and just hearing the reactions. It's funny with spring training when they're reporting, a lot of times they're chatting about other stuff because it's spring training, but that was not the case. They were really locked in on watching him, just like I think all of us were. But yeah, I mean, it was awesome just to see that first pitch, 99 mile an hour. Just I don't know. The kid's 20 years old. It's just incredible.
Yeah, first pitch at 99 miles an hour, was sitting 96, 99. And then I saw the cutter come in at 94, and it was gnarly. I didn't get to check the measurements. I didn't see exactly how much it moved and everything, but it looked like a really nasty slider. Man, I'm so fired up for Ryan Sloan. But I wanted to get to your guys' opinions. Kyle, what's your thoughts on seeing Ryan Sloan?
So I didn't get to see him, unfortunately. Watched my brother play today, same time, so kind of had to pick my battles. But from just what we heard prior to this start, he in the live ABs against Julio? Rosarina? I think Rosarina threw his bat facing him. The guy's stuff is electric, and I think as you can, as everyone's talking about, right? Pitch 1, 99. Guy came in ready to play. I think he said 96. I mean, that's. For a 20-year-old, that's fun. You're starting to think, what guy did we have that was 19, 20 years old for the Mariners, not, a few years ago, that was throwing kind of like that, had some great stuff. Felix would maybe be the guy to bring to mind. I think that's exciting. It's like, do we have something here? Especially with the Miller injury thing. I get nervous. I was nervous about it last year. I kind of wish they just would have, put him out for the year, maybe get surgery. Hopefully they're not trying to, put them with Band-Aids. They say it's precautionary, but we've seen that before. It's just like, are we really kind of taking this further down the road? But you've got guys like Kade Anderson, Ryan Sloan waiting in the wings. And honestly, Emerson Hancock threw great today. So, or not, sorry, yes, yesterday. It's like, DePoto's doing his thing, right? So I think that's extremely exciting, especially just the youth. I think, you got Kade Anderson, who was supposed to be the best. I think he's the most, was it Ryan Anderson about 20 years ago? That was supposed to be that big time lefty that didn't really make anything of it. I think Kade, he showed a ton of promise.
Talking about Danny Holton? Is that who you're talking
not
about?
Danny Holton, Ryan,
No.
Ryan Anderson, go 20 years. I think he was like a 6'11". He was called the little unit. There's some trivia for you.
We're coming up on 20 years for the anniversary of that draft of getting Danny Holton.
It could have been 25 years, but this was a guy that was supposed to be big time and didn't shake out. I think Kade's going to be a different cat. I think Ryan Sloan is someone who I think was good when he came into the organization, but you can just see what we have here and how we can make guys better. I mean, I think that he's a true example of what DePoto has built throughout this organization. And I think that's even better for Kade, who I think was sitting, 93, 94. I think you could see him maybe, he gets a little bit older, a little stronger. Maybe he starts up to 95, 96. And with that changeup, dirty. Like, yeah.
And the big thing for Kade for me too, and I remember his interview when we drafted him, and it was what Mariners wanted him to do is in the offseason, don't throw, gain weight, start working out. And you can see in the way he was throwing yesterday too, in his lower half, I felt like he is thicker. I don't know, upper body, I didn't see him put a huge amount of muscle, but I'd say as a pitcher, you're not really looking for that. Gavin, you probably have a better idea, but you probably agree with that. But you can see in that lower body that he was definitely there. He was definitely, he had an off season. So I love what I saw from both pitchers the last 2 days. It's really encouraging. You guys are right. Like, I'm just hopeful that we don't have to talk about him until the second half of the year. And it's really just like, what kind of like little Swiss Army knives do we want in the back of the rotation, or really to give guys spot starts? Because you can't forget how good this rotation we have right now. So
yeah, right in front of us, we have a lot to be excited about. You just don't know when guys are going to take that turn in their career. And I'm not trying to speak anything into existence, but we can all see slight regression from Luis Castillo. We don't know when that cycle is going to actually turn for the next person to kind of come up. But also this sets up, if Kade Anderson and Ryan Sloan fly through the minors in 2026, and maybe even one of them touches in 2026, I would say Kade Anderson probably, just because, where he came from and what in the stage that he played on and being a year older and everything. But it's nice to then look at Emerson Hancock and say, hey, man, we loved you out of the pen. Let's go full bore. You are in the pen. And we're looking at a Luke Weaver type of situation. The one thing I can tell you from being a pitcher in the past is I hate when I was like, all right, hey, you're going to start this week. We need you out of the pen next week. And then you're going to come out of the pen, but we're only going to use you for one inning because we want you to start the day after that or something. That was
NAIA though. We're talking about playoffs. Like,
but no, it's hard to lock in. It's a mindset though. Like, it's a mind. When you're starting, it's a mindset. You're thinking it's a marathon. When you're going when you go into the bullpen, it's like, okay, it's a sprint, right? I got to be ready. I have to be ready. Yeah, I have to be ready from the first inning through the ninth inning. Like, at any point in time, I have to be ready. And that mindset of you trying to flip the script on that, it's a different animal.
Yeah, I also want to give a shout out to Jerry DePoto. Obviously, we've seen the talent from the college level, especially from the pitching side, just fantastic. But since the dawn of him being drafting in Seattle, which I believe their first high school draft pick was Joe Rizzo right after Kyle Lewis in 2016. Since then, there hasn't been any high school players that have either surfaced or actually done anything for the Mariners. He's kind of resurfaced the way he's looking at high school kids and really targeting a profile that fits the next level. And maybe he's targeting a mental profile too, and seeing kids that are really, really, getting after it outside of baseball. I got to give a shout out because the first 4 or 5 years, the high school picks that he would bring in, middling at best. Some of them wouldn't even, make it to the top. I think Michael Morales was the most successful, or one of the most successful in that time period. And he has still yet to pitch at the major league level. I still like Michael Morales, but now looking at Ryan Sloan, Colt Emerson, Cole Young, and other guys that he's brought in, I think he's done a fantastic job of saying, hey, you know what? We need to change what we're doing. We need to change the profile and kind of move in another direction. And props to him. In that draft class, I'll say this much. In that draft class, Chris Lavonis was my favorite high school pitcher, and he went with Ryan Sloan. And I was like, okay, I want to know more about this kid because I'm sold on Chris Lavonis, who, by the way, is throwing 100 miles an hour over at Wake Forest and crushing it this year. Watch that kid in the 2027 draft. But the more I got to know Ryan Sloan, the more I'm like, you know what? This kid is next level. I'm very excited. Very, very excited. Talk to me about any other prospects. We got to see, Laz Montez. We got to see Michael Arroyo this spring. Who are some of your favorites? And is there any impact at the mid to late this year or even in 2027? Emily, kick it off.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Michael Arroyo has come out and done a lot. I honestly think more than maybe any of us expected. The first day or two that he played, we kind of saw what we expected for his defense, but I really feel like there was some significant improvements as he played more, because I think that was one of the big things that was kind of like one of the main hesitancies for a lot of people. Is like, okay, like we know what he can do offensively, but his defense was kind of like not the best. And so I do feel like he's really shown some improvement there. And also, I mean, like Colt Emerson, I know where everybody's talking about him, but he's done everything you've asked him to do. He has showed up to camp ready. He is out there. He's hitting. He's playing great defense. It's, everything that we wanted from him, he's done. And so I think when you look at that, I'm really curious what our lineup's going to look like. I think
we haven't seen Arroyo off second yet, though, right? They've only continued to play him at second base.
Yeah, I haven't seen him.
I guess it's only been a second.
They've talked. I mean,
talked about left field
before spring. They were talking left field, and then right when spring started, said a little bit of third base. I haven't even heard of him in the backfield taking grounders. Like I haven't even seen a photo of it. So
yeah. I thought
he had one. It might be more of like a shift. It'll be like Colt Emerson will eventually go to shortstop, and then Arroyo will find his way to third base, and it might be when the season starts, and you see him in Tacoma maybe doing it. But
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and it just sounds like from all the other, podcasters, people behind the scenes and everything, it seems like they're in love with Cole Young. But having Brendan Donovan, I don't know if it's going to be, hey, Brendan Donovan's third base, Cole Young's second base.
Cole Young's job to lose, man.
Well, you got Brendan Donovan, and it's like, if some of these other,
he's your third baseman though.
A year from now, who's your third? You going with Brendan Donovan, or if Michael Arroyo's pushing the needle? Like, what do? You gotta get rid of somebody, or
Brandon Donovan can go play corners.
You got Colt Emerson. And you got all these other guys that are coming up, which I love. By
Emerson
the way,
can go play shortstop. There's plenty of room. There's a long season.
And you got Rose Arenas is a free agent next year, so it's like, do you sign him? Do you shift?
JP.
JP. So it's like, what's happening, right? No, I agree, and I think Colt's still a couple of years away. He started slow. I still think he's a couple of years away.
Couple, like more than one. I think one at the most. I'd say he touches this year. Actually, hey, let's do this right now. Emily, and then we'll go Kyle, and then we'll go Chad. Does Colt Emerson play in 2026? Yes or no?
Absolutely. I mean, I think that the front office has said that's their determination. I mean, granted, that doesn't really mean a whole lot because they say stuff all the time and it doesn't happen. But I don't see any way that we don't see him in 2026.
I look at our team, and our biggest weakness is right field, and I see Brandon Donovan as an opportunity for him to go to right field, and Colt Emerson to play every single day at third base. Now, if he is hot in AAA and does what he's supposed to in the PCL, what is there left to learn? I'd say call him up. And especially if somebody in right field is not playing well, if somebody on the bench is not playing well, get him at bats. The guy's an elite talent. So will it happen? Yes. When it will happen, Colt will decide it for himself.
Now, just to give the other side of the fence, because I agree with you, but just to give something on the other side of that fence, we've seen that at 21 years old from somebody else. Now, they're not the same person. But Jared Kelenic got that.
They look like they could be frat bros together.
Ohio,
guys.
and Wisconsin, just doing the most there. But we've seen it go, especially just Mariner history. We've seen guys get called up and it was way too soon, or guys just aren't ready, or for whatever reason they can't hit in the cold. I don't know what.
Name a Jack Z prospect. There you go.
Yeah, name any Jack Z hitter.
Nick Franklin. I liked him though. When I was
class of 09, baby.
when I was a clubby for the Rainiers, his birthday was a week from mine. I think it was March 14th. So we went out one time. It was a good time. Nick Franklin.
I do like Nick Franklin, man. That's a good toss back. I like Nick Franklin. Shout out Nick Franklin. If you're watching, which you probably aren't, if you're watching, just know Mariner fans love you. But yeah, I just, it does spark at least the conversation of, we've seen this story before. I also agree, however, that Colt Emerson is much more mature, and I think he's ready for this level, and I think he's very, very close. I think that there is a small chance that he even breaks. I think it's probably going to be a week or two, like you've seen some other top prospects do. They wait a week. They let Rivas get a couple of bats. They let Bliss get a couple of at bats. They let the other guys kind of fight for some of those backup spots, and then whoever they seem is like, all right, this guy's just not fitting in. This guy's not getting it done. He can't hit. His defense is just kind of shot, or whatever the case may be. Then I think they call him up. I think, Chad, you might be onto something within 1 month. But Kyle, you're saying years with an S. Talk to me about that. What are your thoughts on Colt Emerson?
I think it's a twofold question, right? It's, when does he show up, and when does he own a spot? I don't think he owns a spot. That's where I'm thinking 2 years. I don't think he owns a spot for 2 years. Do you see him this year? I wouldn't doubt that in a heartbeat. At the same time, though, if we're so enamored with him and we want him to be good, it's that conversation we had last year with Cole Young and Ben Williamson. What would you rather him do? Ride pine or be playing in AAA every day? He is 20. He is 21, right? He still is young, hasn't had a ton of major league experience. So it's like, you want to give him as much as he can, get those every day. And it's like, and then I think Harry Ford.
Do you think they're saying that about Junior? I'm sorry, Kyle. Do you think, let's hold back. Let's hold back on Junior. He hasn't seen enough major league action. Kyle, if you're good, you play.
Let me finish though. Harry Ford should have came up. Harry Ford should have came up sooner, but a guy named Cal Raleigh was in his way. There was no one in front for Junior, and they needed a little bit of help at the major league level. So I get the idea, but
The Mariners did kind of suck.
They kind of suck, right? They kind of needed some help. But
you got me there. You're right there.
That's where I'm just. And again, JP is a very serviceable player. He's great in the 9-hole. He gets on base. He has a good glove. He's streaky. Definitely has his ebbs and flows. But I think he comes in. He gets that experience. Maybe he's a spark plug here and there. I just don't see him owning anything for the next. I'll give you maybe midway through, not this season, but next season. Maybe he's actually starting or platooning. But I think 2 years before, it's literally he is one man standing.
Okay. I mean, to be honest, I love a good take on the other side of it. And honestly, the way that you were able to kind of describe that of, okay, every dayer, not getting called up, brought back down, and all that stuff. Also, another storyline with the Junior situation. There was Senior, and you wanted to at least get father-son. Like, they were they definitely looked at that storyline like, hey, people can actually show up to games if a dad and his son are on the same team playing for the city. Yeah, that's another storyline. So I'll just end that.
And you actually like the dad, a certain basketball scenario thing where it's like, I don't care.
Yeah.
What about even Jared Kelenic? I mean, like, there's an example. He found his way up after about a month into the season. Maybe that's more of his agent pumping his brain with bad information. But
yeah, because you got to think, when was that? 2022, 2021, and we were not supposed to be good. We're still depleting the roster, and we're still a pretty bad baseball team. So yeah, and somehow we won 90 games, or was it 89 games that year, and we missed the postseason. And that was Kyle Seager's. This is last year in 2021, because 2022 when we made it, he was not there, and I felt terrible that we had this guy his entire career, and he doesn't experience one playoff game. Still heartbreaks me. I hope
the Tyler Lockett scenario.
Yeah,
He showed up. He showed up a year after we won the Super Bowl. And then
Okay, but
left.
yeah, at least he got some postseason games. Kyle Seager literally never even got a postseason game.
Okay.
Yeah, that's yeah. Don't get me wrong though. Yes, he did show up the year after, and also think about DK leaving the year prior. Gino leaving the year prior.
I feel way
and
less
then-
bad for him than I do for
Oh
Tyler
no,
Lockett.
I don't.
Just saying.
I don't feel bad for them. I'm just throwing like, oh, you guys left. We're gonna win. Sorry, we'll get back to Mariners here. We'll be right back. No,
let's just say the future's bright and it's really exciting
the future
because
is
we're having the
definitely bright.
dilemmas of who the hell plays where, because you've got log jams on log jams. Like it's pretty cool.
It's a beautiful situation that we have. Is there any other prospects that we haven't mentioned already that you wanted to talk about? Anybody? This is we'll open the floor here.
I mean,
Brennan
he hasn't
Davis.
really. What's that?
Prospect? Yeah, I guess he is. Yeah, he's. I don't think he's ever played at the MLB level, so I guess you could technically put him
Former
as a
top prospect, just long time,
just a 26-year-old prospect.
Yeah, I mean, he just could never catch a break. I mean, one thing I'll say too, like I was at that Cincinnati Reds Mariners game, and I wasn't even paying attention to the game. It was end of the game. I was hanging out with my kid on my lap, talking to family, and I heard a pop. And I've never heard a home run hit like that. It sounded like it was so hollow, middle of a tree. Like it was crazy. And it just got the stadium got quiet and the ball left. I mean, the ball was out. It was a line drive out of there. I don't know. Was it televised at all? Did you guys see, did anybody catch a home run?
No, that one wasn't televised. The Mariners put out a post of Connor Joe's home run.
Okay.
And they put out a post of somebody else hitting a double. Oh, Ref Snyder hit a double, and they put out that post. And then Celestin had a single up the middle, or infield single, and they put out that. Well, I think they posted the Davis home run later that night or the next day, because I did see it the next day, and I was like, okay, he got all of that one.
It was a shot, and he continues to produce. He looks good. I mean, playing left field. Like, if you want to really think about how you're going to improve your team, like I really never liked Arena's defense in left field. If I can get him playing more DH, Canzone playing a little bit more right field, your team's getting a lot better right there. And just thinking about it, if somehow Brennan Davis is good, now he's probably a part-time player. Maybe he can hit 10 home runs and you're going to like 200 at bats out of him, maybe, I think is the ceiling. So I'm going to stop talking about Brennan Davis about right there. But
hey, I'm all fired up for Brennan Davis.
I liked what I saw. I like his swing. I continue to watch it. I think I'm getting a little obsessive with the videos I've watched on Brennan Davis because I think the sound of that home run was so big for me. And then the other one, Felnin, Celestin, and I don't know if it's really not really his performance, but I think it's more of his size. I've noticed he's gotten thicker. It's something he needed. He needs a full season to stay healthy. He just always looked like a twig. So it was nice really seeing him in the box and look like he put on, healthy 15, 20 pounds of muscle.
Yeah. Any other prospects from Kyle, Emily? Any other prospects that you're excited to? If not, we'll switch over to the World Baseball Classic coming up. That's awesome. We got a handful of guys that are leaving. Emily put out a great article. I've mentioned it on every episode since she's put it out. Going to say it again. Nice little drop for that. Also, if you want to check it out, you can check it out at upwestsports.com. Shout out to Christian Rao, who is brand new to our team for getting that one up and running for us. He's done a fantastic job. Also, you've seen him on a couple of videos. If you're subscribed to us, if you're not subscribed to us, feel free. It's completely free. So wanted to kick it over. Yeah. Hey, you like that plug? Wanted to kick it over to thoughts during the World Baseball Classic. We're going to have kind of a little bit of a depleted roster. Expectations. What do we got going on? What do you like to see, or what do you want to see during the World Baseball Classic? Obviously, we're going to be locked in to the World Baseball Classic for all of our players and just for some really good baseball. But what do you want to see from the Mariners?
Kyle, you
put guys in positions that we are, have question marks on. Is Arroyo, is he leaving?
Yeah, Colombia. He's playing for Colombia.
Okay. So for the guys that aren't leaving, it's the questions of, okay, we've got, Brendan Donovan slated at third base. Who else? Who else can play shortstop? Who else can play second? Who can play first? Is there a guy that we're really curious about on the hill? Maybe he doesn't have experience. Throw him out there. I mean, at this point, it's kind of like call this the lab. This is the time to really experiment and just kind of say screw it. I mean, again, it's spring training. At the end of the day, the record does not matter. And if you've got question marks you're trying to solve and you've got people gone and you need to bring people up, see what you have. Maybe you bring a guy in that was a, touted shortstop and you're like, shit, we don't have any center fielders today. Let's throw him out there and see what happens. Maybe he becomes the most athletic guy we've seen out there in a decade. We don't know. But I think it's taking this opportunity where you've got depleted and you go, let's experiment.
Test some stuff out. I like it. The lab. That's what we're going to call it. That's what we're going to call it every World Baseball Classic. We're just going to call it the lab. Honestly, it's the lab in general without the World Baseball Classic. Jerry's cooking up something in that lab every spring. Sorry, puns, Dad. That's just it's what happens when you turn into dad and everything. Chad, what are your thoughts during the World Baseball Classic?
Well, just for the Mariners specifically, and I listened to a Jerry DiPoto interview with, I think it was MLB Network. I think it was 2 days ago. Just talking about what does this spring look like for him as far as competition. He said this is actually the easiest spring we've had as an organization as far as number of positions up for grab. And he specifically didn't really talk about the bats. He specifically looked at the back of the bullpen. He talked about 2 or 3 different roles that are available. So really, and I haven't really seen anybody step forward too much. I know Cooper Criswell, somebody I've liked. He's pitched well in moments. I haven't seen Cole Wilcox yet. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I haven't heard his name yet. Still waiting for it. I'm excited to see. I'm hoping to see high 90s come out of his arm, but if not, then we can stop talking about Cole Wilcox. But yeah, I think it's that back of the bullpen. I think, and not back end, the front end of that bullpen. Just how is that going to develop? And how deep are we going to have too? Because I feel like when we started last year, when we had our rotation go down and we're depending heavy on the back end of our bullpen, and we didn't have a lot of depth in the minor leagues. We had Saucedo kind of going on a tram back and forth between Tacoma for the first couple of weeks. A few other guys, Troy Taylor kind of was up and down, but yeah. And Emily's guy.
well, question for you: who's that? If guys go down and we need that tram back and forth, who's that guy in your mind this year? Is it Dane Dunning or is it somebody else?
Yeah, I think it's Dane Dunning. I think it's Ryan Hoppe. Yeah,
yes,
I think he could be somebody that can pitch multiple innings. I've liked what I've seen because he came from the Boston Red Sox, and he's more of like a 3/4 arm slot. Lagomina type relief pitcher, whereas Dane Dunning, Cole Wilcox, Cooper Criswell, those are going to be more of your long relief guys. And so those are 2 different roles that I feel like those are the ones that are up for it. So
yeah, I also have a wild transaction that may be very difficult to do at this point in time, but one that I want to see at some point this year is Justin Lawrence. He's with the Pirates. I don't think the Pirates are going to be competitive. However, they did just
Rocky,
go
right.
Long-time Rocky, terrible stats with the Rockies, but as somebody who pitched in the Rocky Mountains, yeah, it sucks. It sucks. Like I would give up a 2-seamer in on the hands and it'd go 410 feet, and I'm like, what the heck was that? So yeah, it sucks pitching in the Rocky Mountains. Then he comes to Pittsburgh and he has a sub-1 ERA. Granted, it was 17 plus innings, but I like his stuff. I'm looking at his slider, his low release slot. He's got that Paul Sewald-esque type of thing. So I do want to at least say for a future trade, I want that one. I know exactly what it'll cost? No, it'll probably cost a low to mid prospect or 2. But Chad, just to answer your question on Wilcox, he did pitch the other day against Cleveland, 17 pitches, average fastball 97.4. It was up 1.4, and he had 2 whiffs. So we got some stuff. Christian, shout out.
Was that towards the end of the game?
To be honest, I don't 100% know. Christian is working in the back rooms for us, giving us those solid answers. Shout out, Christian.
There you go.
Max velo of the day was at 97.7, and Yeah. So I wanted, there is another cool thing I wanted to kind of get to. And we're going to start with Emily on this one. Who do you think is the opening day starter? If you had to pick your favorite, if you had, all the criteria in front of you, who are we going with?
I got to go with Logan. I mean, this one's hard for me because I really do think that when you look at them on the two of these guys on the whole, I really think that Brian Wu did everything last year to earn a spot to be the opening day starter. Like if you're just looking at two performances for 1 year, right? I do think obviously Brian Wu was one of the best pitchers in the MLB, right? So I think he earned that. I also think the Mariners are going to do whatever it takes to try to keep Logan in Seattle. And his free agency is coming up a lot faster. I just think they're going to try to make some sort of good showing to him of like, hey, look, we really appreciate you. We want you to stay in Seattle, be our opening day starter. And it's not a bad thing. Logan's an incredible pitcher. I think he's going to have a really good year this year, as long as he can stay healthy. So it's like, I think it's going to be Logan. I think that kind of bums me out a little bit because I think Brian's really earned it. But yeah, I don't know. That's where
I want to add on to that question though. What do you think is a more, I guess, more which one do you think is, I think, more of like a higher place? The opening day starter or your home opener starter?
Well, they're the same for us this year, right? Because our opening day is in Seattle, right?
Are we home? Are we home for game one?
Yeah.
I know that. So I guess
I only know that because I'm going to be there.
So okay, if we were playing away, what would be more
change?
important?
Or is that what you're throwing out? Would it change depending on if they're at home or away?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Maybe.
Questions.
Yes, maybe, because I do feel like if it were then up to me, I would want to get a win that first game no matter what. And I would probably put Brian out there and have Logan be our home opener starter, but I don't know. I really think that the front office wants to retain Logan. And so I don't know, but it is a home opener. So like our opening days at home,
Quote,
we don't have to worry about that. But.
Quote from Justin Hollander, by the way, we would love to do something with Logan long-term, end quote. Following that, another quote, I don't think anything's imminent, but Logan knows how we as an organization feel about him. He knows how Jerry and I feel about him individually, and he's set to hit free agency for the first time following the 2027 season. So we do have a little bit of time. We could work something up. We got some magic. We've seen mid-year stuff with Kyle Seager in the past. They don't shy away from mid-year stuff as an organization. So wouldn't be surprised to see something like that. However, with the caliber that he's at and with where we're at as an organization, I could totally see something next offseason. I can't see anything. I mean, who knows? Maybe he could sign right like the day before opening day. He's like, all right, Mariner for life. Let's go. And you get 15 years, 200 million or something. I don't know.
And I think you'd have to take into account Cal's contract, because I think he could have definitely taken more money and didn't, for the prime reason of Seattle. I get that you're not going to spend a ton. Great. I'm going to give you money to go keep these people home. So we actually have something here.
It's a good point.
Yeah.
It's a good point. And we have that level of buy-in that I think Dan has done a fantastic job of creating in the clubhouse. We've gotten the right people into the clubhouse. We've gotten rid of people that may not have a good fit with that clubhouse. And now you're getting buy-in. Josh Naylor, I think, was the ultimate glue for that piece last year, and now it's the ultimate glue moving forward. And you factor that in with Wu and with how close Brian Wu and Bryce Miller have become, like at their rise through the minor leagues. It's really cool to see everything come to fruition. And now it's just, you're hoping that you add Colt Emerson, you're adding another glue guy. You add Cole Young as an everyday second baseman, you're adding another glue guy. Brendan Donovan, which in the interviews that I've heard with him, I believe it was Brock and Salk and a couple other guys that he was on, he sounds like a glue guy. He sounds like he just jumped in and it's seamless. So I'm very excited to see what that looks like moving forward. And Logan Gilbert strikes me as that guy too. He's fierce, but I think he's a glue guy as well. And I think when it's all said and done, I think he's a Mariner past 2027 for years. So Hold me to that because I'm hoping I'm right. But
We're gonna
Chad,
get bookmarked on Twitter.
yes, please. You know what? Throw us something. Throw us a friggin' bone. Why don't you?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, as far as who's going to take opening day, it's Brian Wu, and that's purely because if the season ended last year without an injury for him, who was going to be our first guy to go? I'd say it was probably Brian Wu. Who was the guy that we were talking about each individual series? Can he go yet? So I don't think there's really much of a question there. I love the thought though, Emily. Like as far as like, hey, relationships, people, how they feel in an organization like truly matters, like in a workspace. So like if that's going to keep Logan here, like shoot, give him the rock. And I don't think Brian would care. I just think he just wants to win. So yeah, man, I like Brian Wu going day one. I feel like he's got a little bit better edge to me. I mean, obviously Walter, it's a different person. You think Logan and you just kind of think of a goofball, but then
Fierce.
it's Walter out there. It's not Logan.
Walter. It's Walterius. Yes. And that's kind of what the direction I was going to go with it. A little bit more on Emily's side, because if we're going to give an ode to him and that's what's going to get him to sign, long term, first of all, I trust him as our ace. I trust him as our number one. Second of all, Brian Wu against anybody's other two, I'm fired up for that. And then you got George Kirby, Bryce Miller, Luis Castillo behind him. And at this point in his career, and this is not a knock to Luis Castillo. I hope this doesn't come across like that. But I would love to see Luis Castillo just be given the 5 spot and say, hey, man, go out there and just try and dominate other 5s. And I know that it sounds like a demotion, but this is what's going to help us win at the most elite level. When you have to face somebody else's number 4 or number 5, like you're going to dominate. And I know you're going to look really good. And when you have a bad game and let up 4 or 5 runs, well, against somebody's other number 5, we have a chance to put up 7, 8, 9 runs. So I really like the way that they can potentially structure this and have Luis Castillo and say, hey man, you're a number 5 this year, go dominate the other 5s or 4, you're in the back end of that and everything. But that's what I like. I wanted to, Kyle, did you throw yours out? I wanted to get to yours.
But no, I think everyone had good cases. I think Brian is the hot hand. I think you kind of have to go with the guy that's, he's been pitching for 5 years with Logan. I think you got to go Logan Gilbert, especially again, contract coming up. And I don't think Brian Wu's a guy, again, cares. I think he wants to be competitive and, he wants to compete, but I think he's like, you know what? I think he respects that. So I think it'll be Logan game 1.
Kyle, I thought you had an interesting comment on Cal Raleigh, and I don't know, I don't really got the sense that he gave Seattle like a discount. I want to, like, when he signed, I think he was the 4th or 5th highest contract all time by a catcher. It was before his 60 home run season. So I felt like he signed at market rate. And now, and I think it's really just a testament to like Jerry and his staff getting ahead of this, and you want to continue to keep hitting on the correct players with these extensions. So Logan, he's got to be the next one, right?
He's got it. Yeah, there's
Jerry,
no other. I mean, Logan, or you just go all in and say, hey, Woo, you're a Mariner for life, and here we go. But I could tell, like, Logan, you were closer to that. We're closer to George Kirby. However,
that's time on Woo to even try that.
Yeah, I mean, especially with how electric he was last year, he should demand exactly what he's worth, especially with how much is left. It's like trying to lock up Paul Skeens. Skeens is just a little bit above him, in my opinion, but they're in that same echelon. Wu has put himself into that upper echelon, into that top 10 pitchers in all of MLB baseball. And yeah, it'd be tough to lock him up. Final thoughts. Oh, go ahead.
Before you go now with Chad, I agree with market rate, but I think the fact that Cal Raleigh fired Boris tells you it's like, yeah, I could have got more money because Boris gets more money for his clients, but it's like, at what point is enough money? And I think it's like, I don't need the extra 20% or whatever the hell I would have coveted in the market as being a top defensive guy that's a switch hitting catcher, which is hard to come by nowadays. So
I
think
think
the Josh
Cal
Allen.
just doesn't like assholes, and that's why he fired Boris.
well, I mean,
that, and
that's 'cause-
also,
but the guy makes his people money though. I mean, you can't deny
Yeah.
that.
but it's also it reminds me a little bit of the Josh Allen situation, where he was like, the team says $5 million to go throw. Now the only difference is there's a cap, and there's no cap in baseball. But we
Yeah.
kind of understand that there is a cap with the Mariners. We all play that stupid game. So yeah, but okay, wrapping this one up. Final thoughts on spring training. Excited to see anything that you have seen. Anything that you want to see, even World Baseball Classic. You excited to see any of these Mariners play for certain teams?
Yeah, give me a Cal Raleigh, Julio Rodriguez, World Baseball Classic, World Series. Mariners
up.
best versus Mariners best at each other before we go and do it at the end of the season. Let's go.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Nosy, Emily, anything to wrap this thing up?
I was just thinking about when you're talking about prospects earlier, I was thinking about Rylan Thomas and that catch from, was that yesterday, where he like somersaulted like almost backwards, and just, I don't know, he's something to, I don't know, he's somebody that I've enjoyed kind of keeping an eye on, and defensively, like out in center field, some of those crazy catches he's made, he's one I'm really looking forward to seeing probably slot in a little bit more while everybody's gone for the WBC. Yeah,
There's a chance
that was wild.
between Victor Labrada, Rylan Thomas, and Brennan Davis. There's a chance that if two guys go down, that one of them comes up. I think that's a dogfight between all three of them, but I think all of them could add value to a 2026 Mariners lineup. For Up West Sports, that's going to do it for us. That's Emily, that's Kyle, that's Chad. I'm Gavin. Life's too short. Gas up your boys.